I'm going to have to duck out at about half an hour, so I'm not going to quite catch the end of this race, or at least I won't be in the comms booth for it. But I can join you for the first half of this.
I appreciate all the time you are able to give. So we are getting started on race time. Should be showing up on live in just a minute. I think the runner streams might be a little bit behind on the restream because there were some issues last race, and I think that is how they ended up. But we should be getting started within the minutes. But yeah, like you said, I believe both runners are playing the old route to KPDR. You want to explain how that route works?
Yeah, sure. So it's kind of the original boss order that most people think the game was intended to be played at. It's not. I suppose you can play this game in just about any boss order, and most of them aren't too crazy to actually go for. It's not. It's not like it's. I don't know if it's spelled out anywhere. Maybe it is official, like with the Nintendo Power Route. Maybe it's semi-official, but in any case, it's kind of the standard. You do crate first, and then you typically go into Upper Norfair to get some of your items. It's sometimes referred to as the shopping section, where you get your speed booster, high jump boots. You can pick up wave beam and ice beam as well if you'd like. Runners will get wave beam. They might save ice till later, and then you head up to Wreck Ship. You do Fantoon. You get your gravity suit. Head down to Meridia. Get through Botchwoon and Dragon. Pick up Space Jump. I expect both runners would then get the Plasma Beam before heading into Lower Norfair, finishing off Ridley, and then heading to Turian to finish the game.
Yeah, not picking up Plasma Beam in Old Route would be an interesting decision. I don't think either runner will make. I like how you described the early part, though. You're kind of shopping around in Norfair, getting all your movement gear with the high jump and speed booster, allowing you to move through the game pretty comfortably.
Shoutouts to Twinmo for that reference. But yeah, I really like it is like you're going shopping. All the major items are not all, but a lot of major items are there.
Yeah, very powerful area, as it turns out.
The Plasma Beam is, I think it takes close to a minute to go get it, but then it saves so much time on both Ridley and the Mother Ring fight that it pays for itself.
Well, it's oversimplifying a little bit, but if you're taking just the number of shots on Mother Brain and Ridley, and this is assuming every shot is perfect, which is not going to happen, that's already over a minute just in time saved on the bosses. So
correct, and that's not counting for things like Plasma Beam speeds up certain rooms. You can hitbox through the pirates, so you really don't have to worry about health as much in Lower Norfair. With the key hunters and stuff, you can kill the key hunters if you want. That's not really an option without the Plasma, or it'd be a lot slower without the Plasma Beam.
Well, both runners having acceptable series escapes. Headed down to Retro Bryn for the morph. Yeah, I mentioned Exact was favored in terms of 90% time. I'm not 100% sure if those are up to date because I think some people don't always put their times on the leaderboard as much as they used to. Not saying either of these runners did, but just as a general community. But from the times they have posted, Exact has a mid 47. PapaSchmo has a high 49. So in theory, Exact with the route advantage for this category.
And as you said, it's just what's listed on the website, and it's just a personal best. By definition, it is an outlier. You know, how consistent you are, how informed you are, is going to make more of a difference than.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially unless you're just playing at the highest level and are very consistent at everything. There can be some pretty large gaps in time based off of how bosses go or how some of the harder strats, if you hit them or not. So we can definitely see some wildly different times from those personal bests, depending on how things go. So it's definitely not just the runner with the faster time is going to win for sure. Not at all.
You take a strat like full happy. We didn't really talk about it in GT Classic because it doesn't make as much difference there. You've already got space jump. Some runners don't even go for it in GT Classic, but in this category, no space jump. That could be like a 15-second difference. It wouldn't surprise me if both of these runners are capable of doing the full happy, but also may not be that consistent, and it's pretty difficult. And so something like that could be a big swing as well.
We did see in race 1, I believe PapaSchmo accidentally sparked up pre-Coliseum, so didn't get the full halfie, while Exact was actually able to do it. So it didn't matter at that point. If you missed game 1, Exact Science fell behind after missing the Green Gate glitch, having to reset to a save, losing about a minute, and so wasn't able to catch up from there. But that was a trick that she managed to hit that PapaSchmo didn't. So potentially we see that again. Potentially we see the opposite, or maybe they both.
Right, or maybe that's part of why her PB is ahead of Papa's, right? Maybe she got it in her PB and Papa didn't, but they're both. It's like that's where you can't. The PBs, it's hard to. Even if they're up to date, it doesn't mean that much in a race situation as long as they're reasonably close. I thought the movement between the two runners was pretty good, pretty similar in the GT Classic race.
Looks like PapaSchmo had a slightly cleaner BT fight. I was not looking closely, unfortunately. Yeah, I have been impressed with PapaSchmo's movement. I think of him a lot as a like a rando main player, somebody who wasn't super good at vanilla categories execution wise, but I know he's put in a lot of work recently, so we are seeing that come to fruition here. Unfortunately wasn't able to make it further in the main multi-category tournament, but like we mentioned, he is the #1 seed for this consolation bracket, so we'll see if he's able to take it home. Of course, that all starts with closing out this series. Exact is definitely no slouch when it comes to movement herself, and this is her pick, and we'll see if she's able to force game 3, or if PapaSchmo is able to move on to the semis of the bracket.
Getting the early supers right here at the 7-minute mark. It's about where you want to be, but Exact not too far behind. This early game lead doesn't really matter that much. I mean, that's just like one Fantoon pattern, really. We expect to see both runners pick up the charge missiles and then the charge beam. Have a little bit easier time with Green Hill Zone than GT Classic because they've got that charge beam, and then we'll get the confirmation that they're running KPDR, or maybe one of them will surprise us and head up.
Yeah, I would be surprised. Generally, if you're heading up, you don't want to take damage from the green pirates on the way to the elevator, which both runners did.
Yeah.
It was a little bit faster to damage through those guys instead of killing them, but it does cost a lot of health, which is very valuable if you're going up, since you're going into a pretty dangerous area, going into the wrecked ship with no defensive items.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's practically confirmation already.
Yeah, it's a mentality that kind of carries over even when it shouldn't. For those who remember, like, the very early days of randomizer, that would generally be a tell if people were going up to wreck ship early, or if they were going down into Norfair, even though usually you would go up with a lot more equipment, and since you're checking all of the items in Brinstar, you'd likely get a refill anyways. But because that's the tell, that's what you're supposed to do, you'd still see people do that and kind of show where they were going early on.
I didn't even think about that. I'm just happy that area rando was invented. No more fixed up-down decision.
Yeah, unfortunately, the vanilla Super Metroid map does not conduct itself to very good racing conditions for randomizer. It's a pretty big imbalance in items, no matter how you split it. Exact is actually a little bit low. Shouldn't be a problem, but it's worth noting. Fun fact, if you've never run into Minicrade, it will do 100 damage with no suit, so... Obviously, Exact able to deal with no problem, but if she did run into Minicrade, she would have died.
She won't be able to go for the lag reduction strats here at this health, but otherwise, yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think most people don't go for those lag reduction strats just because it adds more. It doesn't save very much time, and it adds more inputs than you really need to do. Because you have to go into the spikes and then get back into position to set up the quick kill. And funny enough, Exact missed the quick kill. PapaSchmo didn't, but PapaSchmo didn't get it initially. And because Kraid opened his mouth quickly for Exact, they end up synced up after the Kraid fights. That's kind of funny how that worked out.
That is kind of funny. Yeah, it looked like she just fired probably the supers just a little bit too close together, and one of them didn't come out.
Yeah.
And maybe the same for Papa, except for with the missiles. I wasn't entirely sure what happened on his side.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but despite missing the quick kill, Exact has pulled into a slight lead. PapaSchmo was nursing a couple second advantage, and
just like that.
Just like that. Both runners going to pick up the Kraid tank. I like this decision in a race.
What do we want to jinx? Oh yeah, this is a good decision. Just without the race. Unless you're like a 45 KPDR runner, you just get this tank.
Yeah, I'd argue in a race, like, basically no matter what level you're playing against, if you're playing older out, you should be picking up that tank.
Fair.
Like, it is, like I mentioned, about a 20-second time loss, but it's 20 seconds to make basically every spot in the run safe.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's 20 seconds in KPDR. It's 20 seconds in GT Classic where you don't need the health very long. But in KPDR, there's several places where you might have to farm differently or do different strats to try to conserve health. That'll lose a little bit of time here, a little bit of time there.
I mean, if the runners want to do like an Alpha Spark at the bottom of Red Tower, that'll save a little bit of time with the extra energy. There's a few other spots that they might be able to spark where if they only had 2 tanks, they wouldn't be able to, like up Mount Everest. You know, if your health is low coming out of Wreck Ship, which shouldn't be a problem with the extra tank. That was a little awkward for Exact. It looks like they are both going to be skipping the high jump missile, though. PapaSchmo able to get up cleanly. Unfortunately, Exact was not quite able to get the shot onto the Sova. So
I'm trying to remember. Wave will be the
couple-second lead.
Wave will be the 3rd missile, and then Moat will be the 4th. Then, most likely.
We'll see if they pick up Moat missile. You can just spark over it, which is kind of why I'm surprised they both skipped high jump missile. I think like 4 E-tanks 20 missiles, getting an extra tank and missile pack. It's generally really nice, and skipping that high jump missile doesn't even save the full item fanfare because it's you're taking a slower path through the room. Oh, Exact having a little bit of trouble with this bubble mountain. Gets the backup though. That's a tight wall jump to get back up from that spot.
Yeah. Well done.
But yeah, I don't know if they're picking up moat missile or if they are just going to rock with 15 missiles.
15's pretty iffy for. Well, I mean, I think isn't Zenny still doing 20 missiles? He's at the world record level. He's still going for 20.
I don't know if Zenny is still doing 20 missiles now that he's at, a few
At that
seconds
level.
away from world record, but I could be wrong. I haven't been paying too close attention to what he's been doing.
I think So's current PB has a 20 missile as well, if I'm not mistaken. Like the 4038 or whatever. It's get pretty good. You don't. It's not holding people back from getting good times, but it will keep your Turians from dying due to bad RNG more often.
Yeah, it's definitely more impactful in New Route because you're generally going to have worse ammo entering Turian in New Route. So having the extra missile pack helps you out, like you said, prevents or allows you to get more runs into Turian.
And it's good protection against the turret smite or snipe as well.
Yep. Again, if you're entering with only 15 missiles and 10 supers, that is the minimum ammo required to kill Mother Brain 1. So
Good backup from Exact there to get back up that room. Can be pretty trolly.
yeah, I didn't see what happened. She didn't K go through the platform, just ended up missing a jump, it looked like.
I think so. Yeah, the K going to the platform is the more common way to fall down there. It's for sure. Very easy to do.
Yeah, because those platforms are technically coded as enemies, so you can clip through them due to some jank in the game's movements. Same thing that allows you to clip through the spike platforms, most notably in Wasteland. Also, while it doesn't really come up in vanilla, that's why a lot of people die in Spiky Room of Death up in Wreck Ship trying to break their spin landing on the platforms or potentially turn around, and that turnaround can spin you through the platform, which will put you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's the exact same reason you can't go to the platforms in Double Chamber, but in Double Chamber it's just annoying. In the wreck in that wreck ship room you're talking about, you take the damage. It's very, very painful.
The Spiky Room of Death name is not for show. It is real. Exact actually coming out with not a lot of supers. Didn't spend a lot of time farming the speed bugs. Well, PapaSchmo ended up filling up to full, I believe. It's that Alpha Spark I'm talking about. Something you don't really want to do if you only have 2 tanks, but with 3 you've got plenty of health. No need to
just like that.
be cautious. Yeah, some cleaner red tower movement.
Just one
Exact
slip.
says, caught back up.
It's returning the favor from double chamber there. Oh, nice backup from Exact. That's. I have a hard time doing that when the room goes well.
Got the down grab after getting knocked down once. Like
right. So that'll now give Exact just a slight lead, but still a lot of race to go. Haven't even gotten to Fantoon yet.
Oh, let's see what happened to PapaSchmo there. He paused. I don't know if he meant to do that. This is actually a situation where PapaSchmo's ammo is too good. Like, you're getting 2 drops here from the Cax, so having more than 3 supers is actually a little bit awkward. Like, you've managed your ammo too well. You've over-farmed, and now you're kind of losing some of that time you spent farming because of that.
It's generally a good problem to have, though.
Yeah, I mean, having too much ammo is definitely a better problem than having not enough. No question about that.
All right, we're gonna find out if these runners are going for this 4th missile pack.
Looks like Exact's going for the full ocean fly. Got the missile.
Probably wanted it.
Not quite. I didn't think so. I thought the shot was a little bit too far.
And Papa not even going for it.
I think he meant to shoot a missile, but it didn't come out, so.
That could be. Yeah. I suppose that you have enough energy to go for it, but it does drain your energy quite a bit even when you do get it.
It doesn't say, or it doesn't lose too much more energy than just doing both sparks across moat and then the ocean.
Sometimes I forget these runners have various suit. This Phantoon is not nearly as dangerous.
Yeah, Exact actually missed a super, so we're back to being a little bit awkward. Exact going into the Phantoon fight with no supers. I don't know exactly what strats she does for Phantoon, if she goes for like the hybrid or like a double X Factor, but would like a super missile to close out the fight. Unless she goes for 2X, which is not really a strat people go for too much anymore. Actually, I think Exact is a pop tune. Well, unfortunately, the no supers actually cost her in a different way because she tried to menu over to power bombs, but because there's no supers, she ended up skipping and past it. PapaSchmo is actually just going to go for Dopplers.
That's
not
really
a great
annoying.
first round, but this is, you don't need a good... Like, you can afford one bad round if you're going for a 3-round Doppler.
Mm-hmm. That was a good X Factor there.
Yeah. Nice pop tune.
Papa getting bailed out the fast respawn. Was getting trolled by those flames.
That's a good round.
I think Exact would have been fine without the super, but definitely nice to have it to close out that fight. Oh, Papa getting trolled by these flames again.
Yeah, 2 fast eye closes. Exact, who's already in a slight lead, is going to pull a little bit more ahead just off of a bit nicer Phantoon. Good drops coming out too. Got plenty of supers back. Refilled the power bombs.
I think we're still at the point where, yeah, it's a lead, but there's still a lot of run left here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Until we get through Dragon, I don't know that we know anything.
I mean, I'd argue like once you get out of LN, then you can really start getting excited about a lead.
That's fair too.
PapaSchmo also getting plenty of power bombs.
Seems like when the Ridley fight goes south, you lose maybe 10-15 seconds, maybe. When the Dragon fight goes south, it can like really go south.
That is very true. Dragon going wrong can... That was a really clean attic from Exact.
Yeah, nicely done.
Holy. PapaSchmo setting up for a less cool but equally fast attic, I believe. It's maybe a little bit slower. Also, the health is actually a little bit of a concern. PapaSchmo is a lot lower than Exact is, so he actually went back for a drop.
That stretch he did wasn't just faster, it also consumed a lot less health.
Yeah, that is the issue with the spark across attic. It is very fast and very easy, but draining the health is a concern for sure.
Oh, okay. Papa kind of contemplating his options here. We'll see if he doesn't go for deboost, just runs and jumps. Yeah, this is probably the way to do it. Don't bother.
I didn't see how... Did Exact get the spark across bowling?
I don't think she went for it. Or did she? I feel like she'd have less health if she did.
Well, either way, she's about a full bowling cutscene ahead. A little bit more than that, actually. Like you said, Meridia is where a lot of things can go wrong, and if they do go wrong, they can lose a lot of time, so... Coming up on a very pivotal part of the race here, if Exact's able to have a clean Meridia.
Yep, unfortunately, I think I'm probably going to have to step away for a little bit here. Actually, I will not be able to return for this race. We'll see if there's a race 3. Maybe I'll come back for a little bit. We'll see.
Well, appreciate having you for the time you had. I'll close out this race.
Yeah, I think I'll still be lurking, though. This looks like a good race.
Like Chad is mentioning, PapaSchmo, low health, needs a little bit more in order to actually make it through Meridia. The good news is he does have full ammo, full supers and power bombs, so some of these enemies, like the Cax and the bugs in Hellway, will drop health. So that'll let him farm a little bit more. I don't remember exactly how much health you want to do the spark, because you want enough to be able to spark up Everest, and then also generally you want enough to survive a hit from Botwoon in case things go wrong, or even just if it gives a bad pattern. You know, sometimes you need to take the damage in order to one round the fight. PapaSchmo actually spent a lot of time farmed up to nearly 2 tanks. I think the spark only takes about 40? 50? Just saw from Exact. I think it was 59. You can jump before the spark to save a little bit of health. But yeah, PapaSchmo should be fine from here. As Exact is on her way to Botwoon. Once again, going to use that X Factor. Good old D Factor setup. Nicely done. Missed a super, but still able to get the 1 round. No super drops is a little bit awkward. See if Exact opts to farm the bugs at all here at the Botwoon E-Tank room. Oh. Almost got caught in the sand. That would have taken her back to Aqueduct. No, Exact not going to bother farming up any more supers. Just going to go. Fortunately, no full half. He dropped the 1 wall jump. It's a very tight trick, so once you make 1 mistake, trick's basically over. PapaSchmo also getting a nice 1 round. Was able to do it without missing a shot, and then shot the ceiling for good measure. And has much better supers heading into this Dragon fight. Actually, not picking up the E-Tank. That's bold. I don't hate the decision, especially since I know PapaSchmo is watching the restream. I think I would have farmed to full. I guess it doesn't matter too much since he ended up missing full halfy, so his health is actually going to be around the same as it would be if he had sparked across. But that's a little scary. You see, 3rd use of X Factor for the run. Exact's going to do the Rain Dance setup for Dragon, get all those particles to hit. No supers here, going to make it harder to 2 in blue, but she still gets it. Nice and easy. See if she can get a spiked suit. Doesn't look like it. So, not going to get to do the cool spark back. across the Coliseum, but fortunately with the space jump, it won't matter too much. Looks like PapaSchmo just went for a more standard Dragon opening. It wasn't super clean though, and then the patterns afterwards were a little bit awkward. So not a clean fight. And this spark is a little bit scary. Yeah, if PapaSchmo had sparked higher, there's a pretty good chance he would have ended up getting caught in Dragon's hitbox and potentially get chain damaged. But everything's fine. Andy is able to get that spike suit to spark back across Coliseum, so we'll save a few seconds there. His ammo is a lot nicer than Exact's at the moment, although it doesn't matter too much, and unfortunately, there's that spike suit used up. Exact is on her way to the plasma beam. Not quite able to get that plasma spark, but was very close actually. It's actually an interesting room coming up, the plasma beam room. There's a lot of different strats you can do to kill all the pirates, of varying degrees of difficulty and speed. Of course, they all start with that power bomb there, which will damage the pirates crawling on the walls, making them only take one shot instead of two. Nice and clean from Exact. Gonna go for that Moonfall down pancake room, which technically does not save time, but it does align the door. So it actually breaks even with just jumping down. Fun fact. It might be a few frames off. I don't know exactly, but... And PapaSchmo didn't lay the power bomb, it looks like. So had a little bit more awkward of a plasma escape. Yeah, just gonna jump through the room. Yeah, getting to the door is faster, but you lose the time having to align it there. So both runners doing different strats, falling down pancake room, but they break even. At least for that room. I'm not sure if Exact, and PapaSchmo for that matter, is also headed that way. I don't know if they do northern or southern route. But either way, they are getting that ice beam. Exact now having the full beam combo that you saw last race in the GT Classic that you got instantly at the GT fight. We, in this category, had to pick everything up manually, but now we've got that same powerful beam combo that will kill Ridley and Mother Brain in 20 shots. Looks like Exact is going down the southern route. Not 100% sure if it was by choice. She did miss the space jump through this room here that PapaSchmo is in. I don't know what it's called. But ended up going southern route. Gets the jump through the door in pre-croc. And the second jump into Acid Snakes. Well executed upper north fair sequence from Exact. We'll see if PapaSchmo is able to do the same. looks like he will not be because he is going the other route, the northern route, so called. Once again, these two routes are very similar in time. I think southern route is technically slightly faster if you execute everything optimally, which is a lot trickier. Yeah, PapaSchmo going into Bubble Mountain and then down through the intended route up to the top of Bubble Mountain, but stopping down here to go down into LN, which is where we see Exact now. Is able to get that spark across fast pillars. Now into worst room in the game, which really isn't so bad with this loadout. Sorry, I've got a lot of cats running around. They've all decided I'm the cool one in the house. See if PapaSchmo is able to get the fast pillars as well here. Looks good, looks good. Also having a little bit of shambles opening up the worst room, but the pirate is actually going to cause some problems. Alright, there we go. PapaSchmo able to make it up. Ooh, almost really good metal pirates from Exact. Unfortunately, that last shot was just a hair too late, so the metal pirate's invincibility returns a little bit before the metal sprite returns, so it can be a little bit awkward like that. And Exact is now on to the Ridley fights. So same as the GT Classic, once again, just doing the 20 beam shots. Ideally, you get Ridley pogoing, but Ridley does not want to do that for Exact. Oh, unfortunately, not the cleanest fight. Partially because of some awkward patterns and partially because of a couple missed shots. But the fight's down. PapaSchmo actually went for a spark on the metal pirate. Interesting. It's one way to do it, I suppose. That is how you do it in New Route and other categories that don't have plasma, but do have speed, such as New Route. But yeah, Exact still holding on to pretty sizable lead at this point with how much is left to play. Really just have Ellen escape and then Turian. And she is close to a minute ahead, so going to be tough for PapaSchmo to make that back up. Oof. There we go. A little bit awkward because Ridley kept jumping around while PapaSchmo was setting up for the quick grab there. It was a clean fight before then, but that's a little bit rough. Interesting that Exact actually jumped over all the pirates instead of damaging through them or using the plasma iframes to go through them, I should say. But either way, she is out of Lower Northcote, just has to head on over to G4. Funny enough, despite the extra tank, PapaSchmo's at about the same health that Exact was at on this escape. With the plasma beam, it should be plenty to get out, but these enemies do a lot of damage, 50 a pop, so if you do end up having some problems, you can it can cascade very quickly. Ooh, almost got the fast Firefly room. Kind of an awkward health to be at for PapaSchmo. 150 exactly, so that is exactly enough. That 3 hits will take him out. And so you're going to see him play a little bit safer here. Takes 1 hit on the way out. But all in all, pretty good. And we are out of the dangerous part of the run. All that's left is to defeat Mother Brain. We do have very low health, especially PapaSchmo, who has the minimum health required. So Mother Brain can be a bit tricky, but her attacks are generally pretty easy to dodge, so hopefully nobody has any troubles. Knock on wood. If I don't specify either runner, then surely I won't curse either of them, right? That's how that works? Double curse. They're both failing it. Holy. PapaSchmo is invisible midway through the elevator. There we go. We're back. Funny little quirk with streaming at 30 FPS instead of 60. Those spots where you're alternating between visible and invisible, like on elevators or taking damage, you sometimes just are not visible on the screen. So Exact is looking at about a 49 flat-ish finish time, assuming everything goes well in Turian, which is not guaranteed. That does include a baby skip, which may or may not happen. Also assumes no shambles for Metroid drops, which is definitely possible. Only 5 supers heading into Turian, which should be fine. PapaSchmo, funny enough, is going to have the same amount unless he gets a lucky drop from the green pirates. There was a super drop. Fortunately, already made it through the door, so PapaSchmo had to stare longingly as it faded away. Well, Exact gets nice and filled up by room 2. Room 3 being a little less kind, though, and the health still isn't full. It's a little awkward. But last 3 Metroids in room 4 take it home. everything's all filled up for exact. And we're on to the baby skip. Once again, gonna set up for the clockwise skip with the bomb spread. Unfortunately, the first jump wasn't quite wide enough, and the bombs did slow the baby down slightly, but not enough. Good news is, because the skip was failed so fast, we don't have as much of a time loss as we could. Still about 25 seconds, I want to say. But she is still comfortably ahead of PapaSchmo. You can see, again, this was Exact's pick for Game 2, so you see the any percent experience coming through. That's awkward. The Metroid's not perfectly overlapped, so the missiles didn't hit one of them. Is Rinka frozen in the right spot? I think the Rinka might have moved slightly for Exact, so that Zeb skip didn't work. There we go. Unfortunately, PapaSchmo made it further into the baby skip, but didn't quite get the last jump high enough, it looks like. Oh my god, my chair's dying, crumbling. That was my chair, I swear. It was not me. I don't even know if that sound was audible on stream. That... okay. So the damage from the bomb protected Exact from that catch-up, which passed right through her. A little bit sketchy, but made it through. It's not guaranteed that she would have died from that. Sometimes the catch-up beam will only single hit, but it's possible for it to double or triple hit, and she only had about a tank and a half to spare, so a double hit would have done 200 damage and ended the run. And a triple hit, obviously, would have done the same. See if PapaSchmo is able to have a clean fight as well. Looks like he was, but unfortunately, Exact is a full phase of the fight ahead, entering Mother Brain 3. And barring a catastrophe, will be taking Game 2 and taking the series to a Game 3. I believe the categories left that can be randomly selected are RBO, North Korea percent, and 100%. The race will be between one of those three, randomly decided. I'm definitely hoping for not hundo, personally, but yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Good news about this category is we don't have spring balls, so there is no... you can't miss the blue bomber because you can't go for it. So we're not going to lose any time there. Exact. We'll hit the ship. I actually didn't realize how close we were getting to the 50-minute mark, but Exact just sneaks it in on race time, finishing with an official time of 49 minutes and 59 seconds. I think she got done a little bit late. I think it was around a 49:57 on the timer when she actually hit the ship. But either way, gonna take first place and force a game 3. Not too far behind. Really nice attempt on the fan tune. There's some 2 older out. Definitely showing her comfort with the route. In chat, if you can hear me. All right, I think I'm back? Question mark. Apologies for the technical issues on my end. Hopefully, of course, that we've already basically wrapped up race 2. Should be getting into the final race in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. Game 3 coming right up.